This is an emergency broadcast. Please remain calm and listen to the following message. We want to warn all American citizens of an imminent danger to their safety. At 9:29 a.m. we were able to observe through satellite imagery a significant number of Russian-made long and short-range missiles being transported to a hidden silo near Havana on the island of Cuba. We have little information on the number and the reasons pushing Cuba to deploy this armament, but we are monitoring the situation closely to guarantee your safety. Growing tensions between Ukraine and Russia could be involved. American diplomats are working hard to calm the situation, but taking into account President Putin's recent remarks, it is unlikely that the situation will return to normal in the next few days. As a precaution, we ask all Florida residents to keep their car's gas tank full in case an evacuation should take place. A large number of military equipment will be mobilized. Please give priority to any U.S. Army vehicle that you may encounter on your way. KGB agents may be prowling the area. In case of suspicion, please without hesitation notify your local police station. Misinformation in this critical time is very common. This is why we have decided to give you the latest official details regarding the current situation. Do not believe any other source, only these facts are true. On July 28, on the border of Ukraine and Russia, a drone whose origin remains unknown crashed on a Russian military base, instantly killing more than 20 soldiers and 3 civilians. Less than 20 minutes later, the Russian military, believing the drone was an American missile, responded with 6 shots of close-range ballistic missiles Iskander-E in the direction of Ukrainian forces. This attack was then followed by a convoy of 35 Ural 4320 trucks filled with soldiers as well as 29 tank T-90s invading Ukrainian territory. The Kremlin issued the following message 5 hours later.
Russia will never drive into American interference in any way. We believe that the missile which crashed on our military base ISOF American origin and that this gesture WA is deliberate. That ISWHY we made the decision to start taking possession of Ukrainian territory. We demand the immediate withdrawal of all NATO and the American weapons and the armed forces from Ukraine as well as from the following countries: Romania, Bulgaria, Slovakia and Poland. We drive you 48 hours to accept this proposal, otherwise we will have to use force.
This is an emergency broadcast. Please remain calm and listen to the following message. This is an emergency broadcast. Please remain calm and listen to the following message. We want to begin this announcement by informing you that the United States and other NATO member countries have categorically refused to comply with the Russian request. South Florida, including Miami, is currently on high alert following the firing of 9 Russian Kh-101 missiles from Cuba towards an American warship along the east coast. It is very likely that several more strikes will be expected in the following hours, since new satellite images reveal the presence of thousands of Chinese soldiers on the island of Cuba training jointly with recently arrived Russian forces. It is now strongly suggested to evacuate the state of Florida. If you cannot make it on your own, shuttles will leave every 15 minutes from the locations shown on the map. You will receive clothing, food and a kit from the American Army with instructions on how to join their ranks. Congress recently voted for the $3,500 stipend for each new recruit. Please keep calm and support your country. This is a wartime broadcast by the United States Department of Defense. This message informs you that the United States is now officially at war with the Russian Federation as well as any country supporting Russian forces. Warning: this is a wartime broadcast by the United States Department of Defense. This message informs you that the United States is now officially at war with the Russian Federation as well as any country supporting Russian forces. We have compiled a list of these so that all citizens can understand who the enemies of the state are. This list will be regularly updated. All nationals from the listed countries are required to leave the United States within the next 24 hours. A refusal to comply will automatically lead to their arrest. They will be used as prisoners of war. Starting tomorrow, we encourage all Americans to proceed with the citizen arrest of these people and thus help the local police. Two new laws were voted by the Congress in order to guarantee the victory of the Allied countries. Please listen carefully. 1. It will now be illegal in all states to drive alone in a personal vehicle. This measure was put in place to limit fuel consumption in order to deliver as much oil as possible to the armed forces fighting for the survival of the country. No exceptions will be tolerated. 2. Supporters of enemy countries will be arrested and placed in federal detention without going through any trial. These people will then have their American citizenship revoked and will only be able to recover it if they decide to fight at the front. A reward of $300 will be given to anyone who reports one of these people. In order not to be confused with one of these traitors to the nation, we ask that you proudly wear the American flag on your clothing. Here is some latest news from the front. The Russian army now has full control over Ukrainian territory. The American troops had to withdraw from Ukraine, not being ready to confront the devastating attack of 78 Sukhoi Su-35, 218 Mi-24 and more than 200 heavily armed McCoy and MiG-29. Allied forces are currently fighting on the Polish borders to curb the Russian invasion, which now seems targeted beyond Ukraine. More than 80,000 NATO soldiers have lost their lives since the start of the conflict. The death toll on the Russian side is uncertain. The Kremlin also took the opportunity to regain control of former Soviet Union countries located near the Black Sea. These countries are now no longer independent and have been annexed without scruple. Moldova, Georgia and Armenia are now part of Russia. A front in Asia is forming. North Korea, supported by China, sent threats to South Korea, which has 15 U.S. military bases. The invasion is very likely within the next few hours. Japan will then be one of the only allied countries in the region of the world. India has officially agreed to join the Allied forces. Being surrounded by enemy countries, they will be entitled to the support of our army in order to open a new front and thus divide the Chinese forces which have recruited Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines and Indonesia. This morning, the U.S. Navy repelled more than 59 P-800 ONIC missiles from Cuban shores. None of these missiles aimed at U.S. destroyers caused any damage. Although we are still in defensive mode, we will not hesitate to retaliate if this continues. The 4G and 5G communication systems were disrupted during the day yesterday. This is under investigation by the FBI, but it is very likely that enemy hackers are the suspects in this attack. We ask that you use your internet connection to a minimum in order to leave the most bandwidth to the emergency services. This is now considered World War III. If you want to be a part of history, join the Army and fulfill your duty. Find a recruiting center at www.army.no. www.army.no.